Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. Oh, do I have a fun card for you today on What's She Making Wednesday. And we are going to be working out of the new mini catalog, the new January 2025 mini catalog. If you don't yet have one and I am your demonstrator or you'd like me to be your demonstrator, just shoot me a message and I will send one of these out to you. It is such a great idea and inspiration book. There are all the new things, all the fun ideas. You won't want to miss any of it. So the set that we're going to be using today is the Floral Design set. And that is on page 33, 34, and 35. And it is just beautiful. I have so many favorites in this new catalog, but this is at the top of the list for sure. So number one, I love the paper. There are 2 paper packs with this set, with the suite. There is a vellum paper pack, so we'll be using some of that today. It's printed, beautiful printed vellum. I'll show you here in a second. And some designer series patterned paper, a stamp set and dies called Delightful Wishes. And it is just a beautiful floral set with some great sentiment words. I'm going to show you a fun new way to do some die cutting with our words today. And then let me just zoom in here. Why I picked this to start off is bees. Oh my goodness. I love bees, and they came out with some new fun gold tiny bee trinkets, and they are just darling. And you're gonna see me using those a lot with this mini catalog. So let's get started on today's fun project. So let me bring in the stamp set and dies for you to see. It's the Delightful Wishes. The first thing that caught my eye with this set was this big wishing sentiment. And I love how we're going to use it today. And so it pairs with these mini sentiments here. So wishing you were here, wishing you all the best, wishing you lots of love, wishing you well, and wishing you a happy birthday. So, I mean, really for all occasions. And then, of course, all of the floral imaging as well. Here are the dies. And so we've got 2 wishing words. So we've got the inside words of wishing that you could cut out in designer series paper or cardstock. And then the outline wishing, which you can stamp the wishing here and then die cut it with the outline. And then of course we have all the flowers and some builder flower dies, and then also a great sentiment strip that works really well with these builder sentiments. So I love that. So that is the stamp set we'll be using today. We're going to be using some thick basic white, and then here is the papers. So this is the designer series paper, the printed pattern paper. I love all of these. It's called Floral Delight. So the back sides have like a more neutral pattern, and then we have the fun floral prints. I love these bright spring colors. I love the lemon lolly and the Daffodil Delight, I couldn't think of it, pecan pie, and of course old olive, a bit of pool party in there in the background. And so just some beautiful paper prints there. And then we have this great vellum. And so look at this printed vellum. So it's that sheer that we love about vellum, but it's printed, which gives us lots of different things we can do with adhering it. The adhesive hides well behind the printed vellum. So lots of fun with that. So we'll be using that today as well. So let me show you today's card because it is so fun. It is a mini Slimline card with some extra perks. So mini Slimline, it's a Z fold, and it's got a pop out. So it's a mini Slimline Z fold pop out. Stands up really well. So it's gonna be one of those great mantle cards, right? That can sit out, and we're using designer series paper. We're gonna be stamping, we're gonna be die cutting. We've got bees on there. Let me get close to that. And all kinds of fun. So let's get started. with our project today. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna grab our trimmer and let's cut our base here. So we've got our trimmer, we're gonna pull out the arm, and our base here is gonna be 10.5. And remember, you don't need to write down any of these measurements. I just really wanna show you how to do this. I'll have a printed tutorial, a tutorial PDF that you can print on my blog tomorrow. And if you're part of my Buzz Bulletin, my free Buzz Bulletin, you will get this in your email tomorrow as well. So every week I like to email that out. It's just a gift from me to you for supporting and watching and liking, subscribing, sharing with your friends, all of that. So free printable PDF will be available tomorrow on my blog, and you will get it in your email if you are a subscriber. So 10.5 by 6. And then we're gonna do some scoring. So this part I wanted to show you. All the other parts and pieces I've already pre-cut just to make it a little bit faster. But we're gonna score this in 2 spots. So we're gonna score it at 3.5, and then we're gonna score it at 7. And this is gonna create that Z fold. So we've got our 2 score lines there, and we've got our paper. So the easiest way I've found to do this is to bend this part back. So this will be our front, and then we're gonna bend that back side down. So then we've got that Z fold, right? Okay, so we've got one more piece to cut here. So this piece is going to be 5 3/4. Remember, you don't need to write any of this down. I will have that all for you on the PDF. By 5. Like looking at my directions here, right? Okay, and this one we'll do some scoring on it, but we're gonna do that after we do some stamping. All right, so put all that to the side. And let's do some stamping first. So I'm gonna bring in a bit of grid paper here. We're gonna be using 4 colors today. So we've got Pool Party, we've got Old Olive, and then we've got 2 of our yellows. We've got Daffodil Delight and Lemon Lolly. So the first stamp that I'm gonna bring in from our set is these 2 flowers here. And we're gonna use this leaf here and this really cute little splatter as well. Okay, so we've got first our Lemon Lolly. So we'll open up our Lemon Lolly. We're gonna take our stamp and we are just going to stamp all over our piece here. So we're just doing our kind of the background of those flowers. Just kind of creating our own designer paper, right? That looks good. Okay, so we're done with our Lemon Lolly. Now we've got our Daffodil Delight. So we're gonna bring in, this is that kind of detailed piece. And so we're just gonna line this up. What I love is this one doesn't have to be exact. So we're just gonna line this up, giving detail to each of those backgrounds that we did. Perfect. So you can see we've got all of our flowers and all of the detail. Then we're gonna take our Old Olive and our leaf here. And we're just gonna stamp some leaves next to these. We don't have to do it on all of them. I'm just kind of turning my page here. one more down here. Okay. Then we've got our pool party. And we'll do our little pool party speckles here. And so we're just gonna do these kind of all over those little background areas, just to kind of fill it in. Anywhere that needs a little extra, right? That looks good. Okay, so I'm gonna put that aside. I'm gonna bring in a piece of scrap paper here. And so on this one, since we have this out, let's stamp a few of our leaves. Now these have dies, so we'll be able to die cut those. And let's do a few of our flowers here. Just so we get all of our Stampin' in, right? Then we've got our detail. And there are dies for this as well. Okay, so we're gonna stamp those. Hey Kathy, how are you? Then we're bringing in another piece of basic white scrap. And this one, we are gonna use that big wishing. So this is that big wishing, and we're gonna use our old olive. Ink that up and stamp that down. So we've got our big wishing there. And then I've already die cut this piece for us. So this is that label die. And so we're gonna use old olive with that, and we're gonna use the sentiment, you a happy birthday. So wishing, and then you a happy birthday. And we'll just line that up. And if it's a bit crooked, I think it actually might look okay. But if it is crooked, the good thing is we have extras, right? And we can always just stamp another. It's just paper, right? Okay. So we've got that done as well. And I think that is all of our stamping. And now let's put some of this together. So we are going to pull in some of the pre-cut things that I have done for us. So the first piece is one of those designer series paper pieces. So this is one side. We're gonna use this gingham side. Let me grab my liquid adhesive. I know we're covering up the pretty, but we have more designer paper, right? So that's the good news. So we're just gonna center this on that front panel, just like so. Okay, then we're gonna take our, we'll let that dry. We're gonna take our piece that we stamped. So this was that big piece that we stamped. We're gonna bring in our paper trimmer once more because we're gonna do a bit of scoring. And so we want to first stamp it so that we can then score it. So we're gonna score this at 1 1/4. This is gonna create our pop out. Then 2 1/2. Remember, all of these directions, step by step, and all of the measurements will be on my blog and on our printable PDF in our Buzz Bulletin that you will get from me. Okay, so you can see we have our 3 score lines there, and this is gonna create that pop out. So what I like to do is use that middle one as my guide first. We're gonna fold that right in half. Then we're gonna take the other two and we're gonna fold them up and over. So we're gonna create this kind of valley, then mountain, then valley to create our pop out. Now we're gonna bring in our card base here, and this middle score line, which is our mountain, we want to kind of flatten it for a second because we want to line this up so the top and the bottom, let me get closer here so that you can see. What I want to do is line up the score line here of my card base to the score line of my pop out. And so we're just gonna line that up. And then what I like to do is fold this back, grab my liquid glue here, hold with one hand, fold back, then add my adhesive, stick that down. Then fold back this other piece here, still matching up, everything is matching up. Then add my adhesive and fold that back over. And then what we have is our pop out. And then I just kind of like to give it a back rub when it's all closed. But that is how we create our pop out. Isn't that fun? So when it folds out, it'll go flat in an envelope that I will show you at the end. And then wow, when we open that up. Okay, so now let's put our rest of our pieces together. So I have another 2 pieces of that designer series paper. We're gonna use this fun kind of polka dot daffodil delight side. We're gonna add our adhesive, and then we're just going to cover these lines of our panel here. So we're just lining this up top and bottom to that piece. We want to stamp it first so we can see all of those peeking out, right? And let's add our next piece to the panel on the right side. You could also make this piece a piece of white if you wanted to be able to write your message here, or you could cut another piece, another layering piece if you wanted to layer that right there. I like to write my message on these cards on the back because that way if they have it up on their mantle, they can see it and then my message can be on the back, right? But adding that layer is an option as well. Good morning, Avril. We are making a fun mini slimline Z-fold pop out card today. So thanks so much for joining us, friends. All right, so the next piece that we have is a piece of that beautiful vellum that I showed you in the beginning. I love this. I love that it's a printed vellum. Sometimes with vellum, it's hard to disguise our adhesive, right? But when it's printed like this, it makes it really easy. So we're gonna use this as a layer piece for our front panel. And so I'm gonna grab my Stampin' seal. I'm using the plus here because it's a bit stronger, so I love this one. And anywhere there is big images here, I'm just gonna add a bit of that adhesive. So I'm just trying to kind of stay where there are images. That way, let me get close so you can see anywhere there's like an image, that's where I've added that adhesive. Then I'm gonna center this onto, guess it doesn't matter which way, right? Center that onto that gingham layer that I already did. I'm gonna press that down, and now you're not gonna see any of my adhesive because it's hidden behind those images. But that vellum piece kind of gives you that see-through, beautiful look. All right, now I'm gonna set this aside because I'm gonna show you a fun trick with our words here. So we've got our wishing that we stamped in the beginning, and I'm gonna bring in an adhesive that I don't show much, but I love because it is so fun. So these are our foam adhesive sheets, And they come like this. They come in a pack of, I don't know how many are in a pack. How many are in a pack? 6 of them are in a pack. And they look like this. So essentially what they are is like a full-sized dimensional. How fun is that, right? And what's really cool about this is you can use it for, you know, raising a whole image. If you didn't want to put, you know, like 10 dimensionals on the back of that, you could just cut one big piece of the foam adhesive. Sometimes people find it's a bit easier than having to peel off all the backings of that, so it's great for that. But you can also die cut with it, and that's what we're gonna do today. So let me grab my adhesive scissors, because what we're gonna do is, I know that I wanna die cut this whole piece. And so we're just going to take, the way I like to do it is I just like to take my piece that I stamped on, and I just like to cut my foam to the size. How easy, right? And then I'm just gonna cut my paper there as well. Then we're going to take our words, we're gonna peel off the back. See how quick that is? We're gonna peel off the back of that. We're gonna stick it right to the back of our sheet here. So we've got our wishing that we stamped on basic white, and now I've just put foam adhesive sheet to the back. And wait until you see what we're gonna do. So let me bring in my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. I love our big machine. Some people call it the Big Boss because it really does everything, right? So we're gonna put that right on our die cut machine. I'm gonna bring in my dies, and remember I told you there was that outline die of the wishing. So we're just gonna take this, we're gonna line it up right over our words that we stamped. I'm using a little bit of, you could use washi tape, but I'm using a bit of Post-it tape. You just can get it on Amazon or at your local store, because it really just helps to kind of hold that in place so that your die doesn't move while you're die cutting. And then watch the magic that we are gonna do. So I'm just gonna run this right through my machine. There we go. And I'm gonna run it back through just one time. If you hear that clicking, all of that is normal. I'm gonna take that out. Let me move this out of the way. And we've got our piece here. And so what I like to do then is pull my die off first. We'll just put that to the side. And then I like to pull out any of the, like the negative first. And then I just kind of pull. See how I'm just pulling from this side and this side here. I'm just kind of pulling. I have found that to be the easiest because it's going to be delicate, right, when we pop this out. And because we did the outline, we've now got this raised foam, already sticky wishing. This is what the negative will look like, right? So we can just toss that. And then we're gonna bring back in our card, and look how easy this is. So instead of having to put all of this on dimensionals, it's already a full dimensional of that word. And so we're just gonna add this kind of at a diagonal here. And we've got our wishing. Isn't that fun? Isn't that cool? I love that too, Avril. She says, that's so cool. I love that raised foam sentiment. And so now we don't have to worry about sticking on it or trying to figure out, you know, dimensionals. That would be teeny tiny dimensionals that we would need to put on there, right? And I love that you can just die cut that right through. All right, and then we've got our sentiment that we stamped. So wishing you a happy birthday. For this one, because it's very thin, what I am going to use is some of our foam strips. So these are our foam strips. I've just cut them down. They come real long, about 12 inches. And so I've just cut them down, but I'm gonna take one of those And I'm just gonna add this right to the back. So we've got that on dimensionals. You could also do the same thing and cut that with your foam as well, but I found this was just as fast. All right, and then we're just gonna center that on. So wishing you a happy birthday. Super fun, super, super fun. All right, and then we've stamped our flowers and we've stamped our leaves. And so to save us a bit of time, we would die cut those, but I've already done it for us just to save us some time on the video here. And so what I'm gonna do now is I'm going to add some of those on our pop out. So that way we've got a little bit of fun coming out. So this one we're gonna add with just a little bit of liquid adhesive. You can put them really anywhere on here. So I'm just gonna hold that on my pop out because I want it to be hanging over that edge. Okay, so we've got that. You just wanna make sure that it closes in your card. We don't want them hanging over, right? So we've got one there, we're gonna add 3. We're gonna add one on the bottom here. Just adding a bit of adhesive. So that one there. And then we're gonna grab a Stampin' dimensional. We'll put that on the back of one of these here. And then this one's gonna be raised up in the middle. So we've got 3 of those flowers right in the middle to give it a little pop out. Then we've got our leaves. So I'm just gonna add a tiny bit of liquid glue just to the top of the leaf there. And we will attach that to our middle one. So we've got our leaf and we want to just make sure that our card closes, right? So we've got our leaf, we've got our 3 flowers, we've got all of that done. Now we got to bling it up. So look at how cute. I think they made these for me because they are just darling, these bee trinkets. And so we are going to use some of those today. You can put them on with mini dimensionals, or mini glue dots. You can put them on with liquid adhesive, which is what we're going to use today, or you could put them on with our fine tip liquid glue. So we're just going to use this today. And we're gonna add 3 of these. So let's see, where do I want to put them on this card? So let's put one right here. So what I like to do is just take my liquid glue and I just put a teeny, hopefully you can see it, a teeny tiny dot there. And then I will take my bee and I just set it right on top. Whoops, it flipped over. Now I think I need to add another dot. Okay, so let's try that again. Let's add our little dot. Then we're gonna grab our bee here and set it right on top, and I just hold it there a second. Move it if it moves out of place. There we go. All right, and then we're gonna take another one right over here. Grab our bee. I love the size of these because they're not too big. For our cards, you know, you don't really want a huge big trinket on there. There we go. So we've got 2. We probably need a 3rd one. So let's put one right over here. Add our little glue. And you just want to make sure you let this sit so that they can dry in place, and they stay well once you have that. So then we'll add our 3rd bee right up there. Look how beautiful those little bees are. I love them. All right, and then we're gonna grab our wink of Stella while that's drying. We're gonna grab our wink of Stella, and with these 3 flowers that we popped up, our little pop-ups here, I'm just gonna add some wink right in the middle where we stamped that kind of detail lines. And if you want to add them to the background ones, you can do that as well. Can never have too much bling, right? And this last one here. All right, then we're going to take, so let me show you, hopefully the camera will pick that up, but it is all sparkly on, I don't think the camera's picking it up, but on those flowers. Then we're gonna take our wishing and we're gonna go over it with the pin as well. So just like right over those letters, just to give that a bit of sparkle as well. And there you have our fun mini slimline Z fold with a pop out. What a beautiful card that someone could display on their desk, on their mantle, and really see all of that beautiful work that you did, right? I love that. Like I said, you could put your message right here on the back, or you could add a panel here, or you could change this one to white to have that as well. So with this card, what I did was I also made another fun version. So this version is using the designer series paper instead of the vellum. We've got a linen thread bow there. These pop outs, I did the dies, the builder dies, instead of stamping and die cutting. And then here I used one of the other designer series paper. So lots of options with this. This one that we just made, you can see I didn't add the linen thread bow, but you could, because in our other example, so that's 3 different versions of this, you could also add a linen bow, a linen thread bow, if you wanted to do that as well. So I can't wait to hear what your favorite part of this card is. Do you love the fun fold? Do you love the designer paper? Do you love our new technique, our new tip of foam sheets, the foam adhesive sheets, to give some dimension to our fun words? What is your favorite tip? Or do you love it all like I do? I know it's hard, so hard to choose, right? Well, thanks so much for watching today, for liking, for subscribing. Oh, I got one more tip for you. So with these, since they are mini slimline, they don't fit into our regular card envelopes, but they do fit into your basic office envelopes. They are the smaller office envelopes, the 3 5/8 by 6.5. And so you can see here, I just stamped one of those envelopes, and we would just fold this up, open it, and it just slides right in to those envelopes. So easy, easy peasy, and so fun. I love doing fun folds with a wow, and slimlines are one of my favorite cards because they're kind of unexpected, right? They pack a fun surprise in the envelope. All right, you guys, well, be watching for your Buzz Bulletin with your printable PDF tutorial, and that will be coming through. Remember, if you haven't yet got one of our new mini catalogs and you'd love me to be your demonstrator, just let me know and I will be happy to send you one of these out. There are so many great things, and remember, it's celebration time, so with every $60, it's totally unlimited. With every $60, you get to pick out a freebie, and I always say, if it's free, it's for me, so you don't want to miss that. That is January and February of 2025 if you're watching this later on, but it is so fun and you don't want to miss out. That is for sure. Have a great day, everybody, and I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.